Okay, so somehow I did a voice test, sound test before this, and then when I went to play it, it had no sound after I made a character for the 31-day character challenge. So I am Lehman Crafton Jr., aka Zorvalachan Less Than Guru, and this is the Warhammer version of my character challenge for day 11, which has been a crazy day. My printer broke. That's why I just pointed to the piece of paper because I have no character sheet. I will have to buy a new printer. It just was a big pain in the butt, and I spent way too much time trying to fix it, and it is dead. And last month was the last month of the warranty, of course. So I am trying to remember Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. It was a game that I played back in the day. I did never game mastered it. I played first edition, played second edition, and I have an offshoot called Zweihander. And but first edition, the game master for it, he changed a lot of the like weapon damage and armor rules. He didn't like the low simple numbers of like having 1 point of protection or 2 point if it's something big. I'm apparently beating the Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay thing, and so I can't remember what I did 40 minutes ago. So I'm probably just talking about the game. Um, it is one that has lots of stats, and the stats for this was interesting because you could take your single character in Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay and you could turn it into basically a hero character and participate in the Warhammer fantasy battles. And that was an interesting thing that I think they kind of divorced from each other after a while. Um, some of this video was me trying to trying to remember things. I had a difficult time trying to figure out how the skills were rolled, um, but I did finally figure it out. I did not go through the nitpicking of figuring out weapon damage and armor protection because I'm not going to use this character. It's just creating the character. Um, I do love all the art. The art, a lot of these art from these old games really like sucked me in. The new color art is like awesome, but it's this old stuff that kind of can have a more grittier feel, especially with the Warhammer art. You kind of these people are not superheroes. They are definitely just the people. A lot of them are people just trying to survive. There's rat catchers. There's jailers. There's um, like this pharmacist and the peddler. My first character, I was happy because it was like going to be an academic, and then I rolled alchemist apprentice, which meant that I couldn't even cast spells to begin with. Like the wizard apprentice could and everything, and I was like the only spell caster that couldn't cast spells until later. It was kind of like a cleric in first edition or basic D&D. So I decided I was going to be a human, just because most of the old world in Warhammer is humans, and the elves I remember had a very like all their attributes and bonus skills and stuff like that could be extremely high. And it was like if you wanted to min max, you would be an elf. But I just wanted to be a human, and they got like a few more fate points, which were basically like the 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 points that saved you in any other game, except for they did not come back. So basically, once you used all your fate points, you were down. Here, I'm pointing out uh, all the various attributes. There's lots of attributes that you roll. Um, so yeah, that was like ink on my finger there, trying to fix the printer. It was like I'd work on the printer, and then I would get frustrated, and then I'm rolling for my movement. It's a D3, so I rolled a D6, and a 1 and a 2 was a 1, a 3 and a 4 would be a 2, and a 5 and a 6 would be a 3. weapon skills was the 2d20 plus 20, and I have the best roll of the night for this. I rolled two tens, so I had a 40 weapon skill. And as I'm going to show to the camera at some point, these dice were from Ravenloft dice. Actually, they were in celebration of when the book came out, the night of the Black Rose, and they had some roses instead of ones, but they had kind of faded after a while, so that's why they weren't completely there. But those were dice I liked. I liked this stylization. I also liked that they had 10, the actual number 10, instead of just a 0 on them. So rolling for ballistic skills was not very good, and I just wanted to show that these were not loaded dice that always roll 10s. So here I'm like, oh, I might be a warrior because I got a really high weapon, but not hopefully, not a ranger. They had a ranger as a overall character archetype. And then that's for my strength. So my strength was a 1 plus whatever, I think. Um, so that kind of started to kill my idea of being a warrior because I had no high strength. I think that was a toughness, which wasn't a great toughness, and wounds wasn't very good. So going, okay, no strength, no toughness, no wounds. Maybe I can be like a rogue character, and I forgot that rogue wasn't based off of it was based off of dex. So there I had like a 13. Maybe it was maybe they had an initiative. I don't remember, but I did pretty good on the dex. So that gave me a 39. So then I'm like, okay, it does look like I'm going to be a rogue type character. I think that was intelligence, not very good. I think it was a 24. And then coolness wasn't very good. Willpower wasn't too good. But then for fellowship, I did another 19, so I got a 39 fellowship. So at this point, I was really like, okay, I got to be a rogue. I got a decent like a great weapon skill actually. Only 1 point less than maximum for dex, and my fellowship also is really high, which I was seeing as kind of the roguish charmer type person, which actually would work out with the character career I rolled. Now here I'm spending time trying to figure out how to do skills because I was getting confused. I wasn't seeing the fine print that you figure out how many skills you have, which I ended up with 4 skills, and then you rolled on the chart 4 times, and then you got your career skills automatically unless they had a percentile. And I was reading the rolling for your career skills, so I was trying to figure out how to do that and where it told me to do that. And then later I'm looking at the careers and I realize that some of them have like a 25% to get a skill or something. So those are like that. Here I'm figuring out my age. I'm seeing the age thing, but I wasn't seeing where to calculate the age. I did find it under humans. It allowed you to do 60 or yeah, 66 to be kind of on the young side, or 60-10 to be kind of on the older side. And I kind of saw that the one that gave you a +2 skills was around 30 to 39, or maybe it's 30, yeah, 30 to 39. So I wanted to kind of make sure that I could get that. So I actually ended up rolling, as you'll see, a 38. So I got in that range of getting the two skills. So here I'm looking at the humans, trying to read about the skills and fate and all that. So here's my age. So I got the 38 there. And I'm just using a voice recorder right now. Again, I didn't want to have to go through everything of writing stuff down. So I figured I'd just watch this and talk as I watch myself make a character. Warhammer is a game that I liked. I played a full campaign in a modified first edition, and I played a little bit of second edition, which I enjoyed a lot. That one kind of my participation in it fell through a little. Things were happening at my work that didn't allow me to really continue going, but I did have fun. I've always had fun with the Warhammer rules and system and world when we did play with the world. Here again, I'm trying to figure out the skills. I think I might have figured out the skills. So I had, I was figuring out how many skills maybe. So that would have been a 2 plus, fate points, sorry. So 2 plus 1 was my fate points. So I'm pointing out that being 38 gives me 2 extra skills. And this Warhammer book is one that I actually bought it used, and I have had it since probably '94 or '95, and it's held up really well. So it's one of those books that was bound extremely well. Mars kind of interrupted me, so I had to lift him and move him to the side. Currently, he's just curled up next to me. So. Figuring out the skills, because it took me a long time to figure out how the skills work. It's not terribly difficult either. It's just I was not. I kept over shooting it. I would try to read that little skill section, and I was not comprehending it. And then once I comprehended it, it was like, Oh, okay, this is how it works. It's a lot easier than I was thinking it was. Pointing out the elves had a much bigger range and could get up to 3 extra skills. And the dwarves had a larger range of the +2 skills. So that was you roll a d4 to figure out how many skills you start off with plus your age. So I had 2 + 2, so 4 skills. Even though I think I wrote +1, so I had to change that for my 38 years old character being getting two extra skills. Trying to figure out how to get my skills now that I know I needed 4. Yep, still trying to figure out how skills work. I realize I probably could have cut 5-10 minutes out of this video had I realized how skills work. So I kind of give up on skills and I decide to figure out what my character class will be. Career, I guess it's called career chart. The basic career for the rogue. And I roll my D percentile dice. And it was hard to see, so I'm going to bring the camera up close. And it was a 0, 0, and a 3. So my roll was a 3, which actually made it easy because it's the agitator, which is the very, very first career in the book. So I didn't have to go fumbling through it to find it. It was the very, very first one. And an agitator being somebody who riles up people and uses their, like, I assume, like their charisma, which would be fellowship, and is dexterous and good weapon skill because maybe he talks himself into bad situations as well as out of bad situations. I felt that kind of fit pretty well. I'm looking at the agitator class and trying to figure out how those skills work, because I was having a hard time figuring out skills. Everything else I kind of remembered. So I'm pointing out my trappings, the equipment. Still have not figured out skills. This would have been Final Jeopardy. I would have lost everything. Okay, so I have no idea why today is being such a bad day for my character creation challenge. My mic just stopped recording, and I noticed that the little pulsing thing showing me speaking was not working. So that last few minutes you saw was just, again, me trying to figure out skills because I was having a difficult time figuring out skills. I got the agitator career class, which to me kind of fit the roles, so I was actually happy with that career class. And now I figured out that I roll on the chart the percentile, and with my 22 I can go down, and I think it was dance. So I wrote down dance, and I just do that 4 times, and then if you roll the same, you just roll again until you don't roll the same. And if you there was a 68, so that gave me the really good. Just trying to show you what I was going on and completely blocking. Scale shear surfaces. That's right. I was happy to get that. That's a good skill. 58. That was night vision, which shocked me. I didn't realize you could just get night vision as a skill. I should have came from the top, not from the bottom. And then I do roll dance again. So this time it was roll and dance. So I roll again. 86 gives me 6 cents. So I thought I rolled, besides the dance, which may or may not come in handy, I thought scale shear surfaces, um, the night vision, and the 6 cents sounded pretty cool. I'm glad I wasn't having a problem with my camera and mic when I was in the Ulysses Con panel. Today I did that. Um, this weekend is Ulysses Con. There's a lot of Torg and Dark Eye games and stuff like that. That's when I finally was like, oh, there's where that 25% is. That's what it's determined. And if it doesn't have a percent, you just get it automatically. So I got public speaking and read write that I got to add to my skills because I finally figured out skills. Yay me! And I start writing down my trappings, which is equipment, which is like a hand weapon, a leather jack, which I think is kind of like a jacket, leather jacket. And then I got like 2d10 leaflets. I ended up with 11 of them, little pamphlets to pass out and get people riled up about what I wrote on it. And then you can write down your pluses that you can spend experience for, and you get one free advance. So after I wrote everything down, I I decided to do my weapon skill and actually get it to 50%, which 50% doesn't sound like a lot, but in Warhammer starting out, it actually is. Just like a lot of first level characters in other games, a lot of times you spend more times in the beginning missing than you do actually hitting. So I put the little tick, the little check mark, I think they call it ticks. I put that there, and then I added it together to my 40, so I got a 50. So I was basically saying, character is pretty much done. And I'm not going to spend the time to figure out the armor, and then I think I should find a character sheet that has the kind of just to show you even chainmail just gives you a +1. So it wasn't going to be anything spectacular. So that's basically the character. I decided to name him Daniel. I'll go ahead and voice-wise wrap it up if you don't want to watch the remaining part of the video. So you can hit the dislike button because I'm sorry it's 10 minutes to 11 p.m. So to get this published on YouTube in time and actually succeed in the challenge, even with all the difficulties and things I had today, I'll wrap it up. I named him Daniel, male, agitator. Right there, I'm just writing down the totals, which would be the top number because none of the other things added. So yeah, hit that dislike button. Subscribe if you want to subscribe. I do thank all my subscribers. I thank the people that watch these videos and leave comments. It's sad because if I was going to have to do this on one of these games, I would much rather it have been like Pathfinder, which I don't really enjoy, rather than a game that I actually do like. But this is Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, and until next time, I will catch you later.